And NBA, 564. Detroit, minus 9.5 and 10. 565 over 211, 11.5, 212. Orlando, Charlotte, 567. Golden State, minus the 4.5 and 5. And the under 218 and 217.5 against Miami. So it's Golden State and the under. 570. New York Knicks, minus 7.5, minus 8. And came back, it laid the 8.5. 571 over 231.5 through 232.5 in Atlanta and Houston. 574 under 242, 241 Memphis, Utah, and finally 575 over 230, 231 Oklahoma City, Sacramento. And keep in mind that Golden State game. It's usually opposite of what a lot of recreational bettors do, but I see this from the betting syndicates all the time. When they're betting favorites, and the correlation is more with the unders than the overs. A lot of times you get most of the recreational bettors, if they're going to lay points, for the team to cover, they think it's going to go over. You know, you go favorite and over. But I see more times than not when they bet a favorite, whether it's NBA, whether it's NFL, they'll tie it in with the under more than they do with the over, which you would think is contradictory. But it's going against a lot of the over bias, I think. And you usually get a better number anyway with a lot of these unders. So don't be afraid if you're laying points that you think you got to bet the game over, even double digits. A double-digit favorite a lot of times going to cover because they play great defensively, and you need two teams to score for an over. I can't stress that enough. If you're just depending on side A to get you over, it's rarely going to happen. I mean, it does happen, but more times than not, you need both teams to score for an over, and that's why I see a lot of times they'll bet the under with these.
So let's take a look at this North Texas-Oklahoma State game tonight. The Mean Green interplay at 26-8 on the season, 15-5 in the American Conference. They had beaten Furman and Arkansas State at home to get here. And when looking at their season-to-date play, the Mean Green have performed better on the road than they have at home. According to Evan Maya's website, North Texas has the best three players in this game when looking at Bayesian power ratings. In fact, the Mean Green have the more talented player throughout the lineup. The problem is that their strength of schedule is 148th, while the Cowboys are 66th. That's the big difference here, and one of the reasons why we're making our selection in this one. Oklahoma State, 17-17 on the year, but just 7-14 in the Big 12. They knocked off Wichita State and SMU to get here, and the Mustangs, being by far the best club either of these teams have faced in this tournament, they won that game on the road, so that's really, really impressive for Oklahoma State here. They played the best ball at home so far this season. They've been better at home than on the road. Tempo is a major factor in this one, as the Cowboys like to run while they're with their 22nd ranked tempo, while North Texas really slows it down, 363rd in true tempo. So this game looks to have a correlated outcome, either North Texas to the under or Oklahoma State to the over. I'm pretty confident because of the strength of schedule that Oklahoma State can dictate the pace here. So I'm going to play this game over the total. It's gone up about a point since I put it out as a free play for my clients, but I like it. It's up to about 138 and a half. Oklahoma State playing home is going to try to run them out of the stadium, and I think they'll have success doing that. The line, slight lean with Oklahoma State.
There we go. Brian Leonard joining us, everyone. 7-0 in March Madness. Better than my 7-3, that's for sure. Make sure to check his Thursday and Friday bets out.
We're looking at the Wild for the last 30 days in 5-on-5 play. They come in at 49.24. Vegas comes in at 52.06, but that's been that power play for Vegas, which has been tremendous as of late. Take a look at the records on the season. The Golden Knights own a plus 48 year-to-date net goal advantage in this one. Minnesota's been a bit lucky in that regard when you take a look at their season record. But Vegas is only 4-10 straight up on the road as of late. They've struggled on the road. They did look great in this homestand that just completed. The offense looked really good in the Fortress, but they have not played well offensively on the road. Minnesota has dropped both earlier meetings in this series, and this is the second game, as you mentioned, of the back-to-back for the Wild. Weird scheduling for the Wild here. They are in the middle of 10 of 11 games being played at home. They go to Dallas last night for a quickie, and then they come back at home here to play Vegas. It's kind of a weird schedule. I didn't see that happen very times this year. Important situation for Vegas. They're going to be without Tomas Hertl, who didn't make the trip because of the injury. If you watched the last game, controversial call near the end of the game where he got pushed into the boards. He's got some shoulder problems, so he's not going to be playing. Didn't even make the trip. That's a huge offensive loss because he's been just terrific in recent play. He's had like 3 goals and hat tricks in like 2 of the last 4 games. I mean, he's just been leading this offense. Without him there, that's going to be a big differential tonight. I prefer this game to go under. The goaltending in Vegas has been excellent. They are going to have their best goaltender on the ice tonight. Minnesota, if you take a look at their games at home, last 3 games at home, they've given up a total of 2 goals. So this game's listed at 5.5. I like the under here, but I could not disagree, or excuse me, I could not agree more with your Minnesota side, but I prefer the under. Maybe play Vegas team total under, maybe the best play out of it all, but this is going to be a tough play for Vegas here. Minnesota's second of the back-to-back, but they are playing back at home, which have been very good lately.
Right now, Argentina are sitting first in the 10-team qualifier group in South America with 28 points. They have already qualified to the World Cup in 2026. Brazil are sitting third with 21 points. They just need a couple of more points to mathematically ensure that they will also go to the World Cup next year, which is going to be in the summer. It's going to be really, really amazing. Now, right now, Argentina are +1 favorites at home. The draw is at +200. Brazil are +250 underdogs on the road. The Asian spread is set at 0.25, and the Asian total is set at 2, maybe 1.75, depending on where you look. Now, right off the bat, both teams are missing key players. I'm going to start off with Argentina. There is no Lionel Messi, so don't expect to see any fireworks there. No Lautaro Martinez. These are 2 of their best forwards. They still have a lot of talent there, but these 2 are not there. Brazil are also missing some key players, mainly their goalkeeper, starting goalkeeper Alisson, who plays for Liverpool. He was injured in the previous match against Colombia. There is no Ederson from Man City, who is also injured. So, but they still have some nice goalkeepers at the bench. But they do have a couple of crucial absences in the midfield and in the defense, because Arsenal's centre-back Gabriel and Newcastle's midfielder Bruno Guimaraes, they were both suspended in the previous match and are unavailable in this one against Argentina. Now, this is a matchup that rarely rarely produces a lot of goals. Now, 5 of the last 6 head-to-head matches in the last decade went to the under 2.5 goals, and each of the last 3 since 2021, they went to the under 1.5 goals. So they're either 0 goals or just 1 goal. These 2 also played 3 friendlies in that span. All 3 went to the under 1.5 goals. So again, this is a matchup that rarely produces a lot of goals anymore, as these 2 they consider themselves the best teams in South America, and they primarily look to not lose against their arch rivals. That's why we see a lot of cards and very few goals. Now, the question whether these 2 will qualify is not even a question. They will qualify. And one might think that, listen, this is a match between Argentina and Brazil. They have a lot of firepower. Let's smash the over. No, there is a reason the line is at 2, maybe 1.75. Because historically these 2 do not produce a lot of goals against one another. They're going to play cat and mouse. They're going to look to primarily avoid the loss. There is no qualification, thing here to chase. They just want to avoid the loss against the arch rival. So a draw is also quite possible. The last 2 head-to-head matches in Argentina were both draws, and most recently that happened in 2021, almost 4 years ago, and that was actually Argentina's last draw at home. So they went 4 years of playing through qualifiers and whatnot without a draw at home. So maybe take a look at the draw at +200, but I don't see a lot of goals here. Again, these 2 will play cat and mouse and will primarily look to avoid losing. So I'm going to take 2%. This is actually a client play of mine. You can find the full breakdown at my page, wt.buzz/pl. I'm going 2 units on the under 2 goals, -137. It's a bit chalky. Line good to -150. If you can't find that, you can take just 1 unit on the under 1.75 goals, or even half a unit on the draw, because I think this is going to be a very, very tight match.
You got to be willing to adjust in this industry. We've talked about Kentavious Caldwell Pope and his 3-pointers, and we were taking the unders. Guess what? It's time to take the overs. We're going to take KCP over 1.5 made threes. He's out of his shooting slump, and he is on a hot streak. He's gone over in 5 straight games. He's now attempting 5.6 3-point attempts per game, and he's hitting 2.6 of them. He's shooting 51.2% from threes in the last 5 games, and now he gets a dream matchup in Charlotte, who's 20th in 3-point defense. So you ride the streaks, Prez. We were cashing on his unders. Let's start cashing on his overs. Well, Ronaldo Rodriguez, this is another guy that just has that dog in him. This guy is something else. So he's had 19 professional fights, and he's only 25 years old. Prez, his first professional fight was when he was 17 years old. He wasn't even of legal age. So he fights when he's 17, and he wins his first 4 fights as a teenager. Now he's 25. He's fought 19 fights. He's won 17 of them. He's never been finished, and he's 2-0 in the UFC, and he's just coming off of a war where Odi Osbourne had him in so many submissions, and he got out of all of them. He's been rocked, and he doesn't get knocked out. He fights back, and he can come back and beat Odi Osbourne, and now he gets Kevin Borjas. Remember, Prez, this UFC card is UFC Mexico, so they kind of give the Mexican fighters some pretty good matchups. And Borjas is 0-2 in the UFC. His striking is not that good. He does not have that great of a ground game. And Ronaldo Rodriguez is going to fight every single second. He's going to be too much for Borjas. So look for Ronaldo Rodriguez to get the win here. And I'd lock this in quick because the line has already started moving. That's why I wanted to talk about it on Tuesday.
Just the same. So let's get into the Carolina-Nashville game. Carolina minus 280 here. I find no value in this game whatsoever. Don't love the spot for Carolina, but I'm not going to bet Nashville. This is a horrible Nashville team, and they have lost 4 of their last 5 games. If I had to bet this game, I would take under the total of 5.5. Buffalo is playing Ottawa. I like the over in this game, guys. I like the over in most Buffalo games. I think there's going to be a lot of speed on the ice. Over 6 is the total for me. I like the Toronto Maple Leafs in this game in regulation and minus 1.5. I like Tampa Bay over Pittsburgh in regulation and minus 1.5 as well. I think there's value on Montreal plus 135 against St. Louis. I like Minnesota plus 165 against Vegas. I like Winnipeg a lot tonight at minus 150. I like the over in the Colorado-Detroit game. I like Calgary against Seattle. And I like the under in the New York Rangers-LA Kings game.
We've seen all the teams once, and to me, there's a clear poor side in there. Look now, Super Giants. So you can get 7-2, 3 plus 350. Look now, Super Giants to finish bottom. To my mind, they're going to be at most in the third from bottom, and they could end up tailed off. Watching them yesterday, they have completely ripped up their side. Right, they had a solid side that wasn't quite good enough, but it could have got somewhere with a couple of big signings. They've just ripped the whole side up and replaced it with this really odd lineup of impressive overseas batsmen, but really terrible bowlers. Failed to defend 209 yesterday despite loads of early wickets. I think they'll end up tailed off. So that's my free pick, 2% play there at plus 350. Well, as you say, Carney's just taken over. I think that, if you looked at the market 2 months ago, it was very, very one-sided to the Conservatives. But what it would seem, given what has happened in the polls, etc., is that was more about a dissatisfaction with Justin Trudeau, maybe the fact that Liberals have been in power for a long time, because since Carney took over, there's been a big, big polling shift. And if you take today's 338 Canada projection, which goes through each seat, they've got Liberals winning the majority. They've got them on 185. You need 173 seats to win it. So on that basis, I would be betting Carney and I'd be betting a Liberal majority because, of course, for Carney to win, they could fall short. They could end up 6 or 7 short, 166, 167, and the NDP would push them over the line in some kind of supply and confidence arrangement. But having said that, it's not unheard of at all for leaders to just get this very short-term honeymoon polling bounce. He's only just taken over. He's been in the news a lot. He's got somewhat of a different brand from what I can tell from Trudeau. And I know Carney from over here because he was governor of the Bank of England. So it's possible that flips around and that lead disintegrates. But at the moment, it does certainly, from my money point